And we are live. Hey, everybody, you're watching and listening to the We Are Rising podcast. This is your host, Andrew Benjamin, faithful drink of a cocktail in my hand. I'm with my favorite co host, Jay Krish from Focus Fights, all the way down there, all bundled up.
Well, the weather's a bit crazy, but hey, I can manage. And out in Southern California, we got everybody's favorite superior rule set defenders, Jaywolf. How are you, dude?
Hey, what's up, brothers? How you guys doing? Hey, thank you so much for having me on. I mean, I just cannot wait for this event right here. This is the cream of the crop here for the Japanese mixed martial arts and the Epic Rising Fighting Federation, the New Year's Eve, and this is technically the last collaboration mega event, right? At least of the Scotty Cokes era. So, I mean, I'm really looking forward to this. This is going to be awesome.
I don't consider this a collab show. You can't consider it a collab show.
Two of the top, two of the co-main events, because it's a dual main event card. They're under contract with Bellator still. Juan Archuleta is the top 5 bantamweight, and so is Kyoji Horiguchi still. So I mean, yeah. they're top 5 ranked in Bellator, and they're under contract with Bellator. So to me, it's a collaboration event still. Technically,
and the fact that you also got John Dotson representing BKFC as well, so wouldn't that be a promotional? Wouldn't that be a multi-promotional event?
Absolutely, yeah. Dotson's BKFC champion right now, bare knuckle champion.
I consider more BKFC crossover than Bellator at this point.
Why? There's only one BKFC guy on there. There's 2 Bellator fighters. Horiguchi and Archuleta.
Oh, come on. Oh, no. Horiguchi, stop it. Horiguchi doesn't count.
He's ranked top 5 in the band. He's number 5 bantamweight in Bellator's rankings right now. Archuleta's number 3.
How does a promotion that doesn't exist have a ranking system?
Technically, it still exists for 8 more bouts. 8 more events next year under the PFL banner. So, and before they fold it into the PFL completely. So, and also, hey, Scotty Cokes is going to be there ringside. We don't know what's going to happen with him. I mean, Drew, I can't wait for your interviews with Bara, with Bara Goat, I like to call him, because Sakaki Bara-san's one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest of all time. But you wouldn't let me ask the question about Scotty Cokes, if they're hiring him on or not. So I guess we'll have to wait and see about that. When does that interview drop, by the way? Are you going to drop that?
So I don't think they're hiring Bara. Chris, do you think they're hiring Bara?
No, you mean hiring Scotty. Bara's the CEO.
Bara's hiring Coker. Do you think he's hiring Coker, Chris?
I mean, if he is, it's probably going to be on a part-time basis, right?
No, he's not. It's not happening. I'm sorry. 0 chance. If anybody in the chat wants to back me up on this, please back me up.
You can say,
hey, well, what's he doing? What's he going to be doing ringside there?
Damn it. You can say that he is what the fuck am I trying to say? You can say that he isn't hiring Coker, but hey, never say never. It's all I gotta say. Especially when it comes down to, big time hires, and Coker in this case would be either Coker or Steven Espinosa, who just left his Showtime presidency gig as the Showtime sports guy, and will have left by the time next week rolls around. Those are the 2 biggest hires you can get, and I think that you're going to have to work with them on a part-time basis if you're Rizin and if you have the money to stack it up for them.
I don't see it happening.
Yeah, I mean, Espinosa's a boxing guy, and he's out of Showtime, and he's not going to be ringside, but Coker's going to be ringside. So
he's just going to be there to watch a show.
All right. I guess. Hey, technically, it's the last collaboration event of his era, so we'll see what happens. Nothing's been announced about his future, if he's stepping down or what. They announced Kogan is going to PFL to do the Bellator events. So, I mean, we don't know what's going on with Scotty Cokes. So, sure. But hey, I want to talk about this card. The poster is fantastic. You wanted to see the poster with all the faces is very reminiscent of a classic poster. And then also want to point out that there's 17 bouts here. There's only been a couple other Rizins that have been 17 bouts. This is the one with the fewest amount of kickboxing. There's only one kickboxing event. one kickboxing bout on this card, and there's 2 custom rules where it's 5 minute, two 5-minute rounds instead of 3 5-minute rounds. That's what the custom rules is, but there's still full superior rule set bouts. So I mean, that's 16 superior rule set bouts. Of course, what I mean by superior rule set is, the pride rules, upgraded pride rules of the Epic Rizin Fighting Federation. Face stomps, grounded knees, soccer kicks, grounded up kicks, and the upgraded part is 12 to 6 elbows. And they also got suplex slams. What one championship doesn't allow and stuff. So that's why I call it the superior rule set awesomeness. So, and that poster, do you have the classic one that's reminiscent of? I think it was a Dream classic poster. I think it was
a Pride poster. I could be.
Oh, it was a Pride poster. Yeah. Okay, it was a Pride or a Dream poster. I can't remember right now. So I mean, my iPad is not running properly. I only got the fight card pulled up here, but.
Okay. So, but Jaywolf, is this a thumbs up on a New Year's Eve poster? They usually tend to like. Even I don't know if this is I wouldn't go as their best, but I think maybe number 2 or number 3 for their poster.
I don't know if I even put it. I mean, if you want to put it that, I like the other ones where they had like the artwork on it and like I don't know. Remember those other American ones where they had the Statue of Liberty coming in? You saw the behind the Statue of Liberty with the Fuji TV. Well, I mean, not Fuji TV, Mount Fuji in the background, and then the other one, the reverse of that with Horiguchi, where he was coming over to the States. I mean, those were to me, and also the collaboration, the New Year's Eve collaboration Megan from last year with the Gladiator and the Samurai.
Jay, I want to give Chris an opportunity to comment on the poster.
Oh, what?
Oh, I think the poster looks incredible, but it doesn't really speak for the tone of the fight card on paper, especially considering the fact that you only got 2 world title fights on the card. I mean, and when it comes down to the rest of the card, it's just been, I wouldn't say a lackluster build. I mean, I understand that they have basically tried to make this card worthwhile, but let's face it, you're not getting that many big names on the card. You're not getting Roberto Satoshi de Souza. You're not getting Mikuru Asakura. You damn sure ain't getting Chihiro Suzuki, who just won the featherweight title after beating Vugar Karamov. I mean, basically, aside from Archuleta and Horiguchi and obviously Miyu Yamamoto, who's in her last fight, I mean, and yeah, of course, you can add Vince Vendetta Morales and John Dodson, but Morales is a late notice replacement. Where is the real star power on this card?
Kai Asakura, Ren Hiramoto, Yaman. I mean, this is a very Japanese-centric card.
I get that, and I get Ryusei Yashizawa despite his corny-ass singing, but still, though, where is, like, the real star power on this card? I mean, I get that there's not that many fighters out in the atmosphere that would want to fight in Rizin, but Rizin at this point is 8 years into this. You gotta admit that they have some type of star power going into these fight cards now that they've actually carved a niche in the fight world. Correct or not correct?
Well, of course they got this. Haven't you seen the reports? They've already sold out 30,000 seats for the Saitama Super Arena for this event. So I mean, there might not be big names to you, I guess, but to the Japanese fans, they love it. I mean, it's going to be a sold out show, 30,000 plus. I mean, and it just, man, I just can't wait. To me, it's awesome. I think almost every single bout is stacked.
I get really what Chris is saying. I get what this definitely, this definitely has pandemic era of New Year's. I feel
exactly.
I'm not saying that's a criticism, but this is clearly a strongly booked Japanese show. This is like. It's not the same. This is not the same New Year's that like we got in 2019, even 2020 to a degree. This is definitely feels like pandemic era. That's not negative. That's not positive. That's not positive. It's just an observation. And it's funny. I think the poster is kind of symbolic. It kind of looks like a graduation yearbook almost in a way. And it feels like,
come to think of it, I think it resembles either an old Pride poster or an old K1 Dynamite poster.
But the feeling of it has like, it's like a graduation is happening, and we're seeing we might be seeing some fighters move on to the UFC. We might be not. You know, that's the thing, is that this show kind of feels almost like a graduation for a lot of fighters. A lot of fighters on the confessions were talking about going to the UFC a lot more than I thought. So,
and you asked Barr about that, right?
Oh yes, I did. And it's just interesting that this feels like those fighters who talk about going to the UFC, if they do win, yeah, maybe we won't see them in 2024. This definitely feels kind of like it feels high school graduation almost, in a weird way. College graduation, I don't know. Something like that.
I guess. So, I mean, I don't think they're going to get to go. Well, maybe one of them will, but I think the other one's going to get spoiled. I know, and we'll say that for when we break down the card about which fighters they're talking about going and stuff like that. But like you're saying, it's like you said, it's like a pandemic era, and you're talking about how there's mostly Japanese fighters on there. Because like you were saying,
but also the fighters who are foreigners, almost all of them live in Japan. So,
well, there's like you said, there's two that need visas. And that's Archuleta and Dodson,
yes.
Right? And then all the other foreigners on the card, there's only 3 more technically that on the card that are non-Japanese. So this is definitely the least amount of foreign fighters that they've had on a New Year's Eve card in a while. But I mean, to me, dude, it's freaking stacked, bro. I mean, I'm just. Did you see the reports that everybody is in like fantastic shape and stuff like that? And it's probably all of the 17 bouts. They're looking like they're going to be, on weight and stuff like that. And just remember last time I was on your show, we were joking about, like the bad luck and stuff that was happening and stuff like that. And I was making a coke joke about, Dingleberry Dana selling his soul and stuff like that. I just want to make sure I apologize about that real quick to Dingleberry Dana and apologize to Christ Jesus and forgiveness. To make sure that there is no bad luck that happens on this card and goes off without a hitch.
Okay.
And it's going to be awesome. I cannot wait. I hope we get superior rule set stuff. And also want to apologize about that. I shouldn't be making those kind of comments in front of my
Jaywolf, that's fine. Well, Jaywolf, unfortunately, listen, I'm sure Dana forgives you, and I'm sure the karma forgives you, but we got to move on. And so we are going to talk about the first fight. Of course, it's a fight that everybody was asking for. Joe Hiramoto versus Yushi.
Nobody. Well, I get that it's going to open up the fight card because of the fact that they need a curtain jerker. But aside from him being Ren Hiramoto's brother, do we really know anything about Joe Hiramoto?
The only other
he's Ren Hiramoto's brother. Yeah.
He had an amateur fight and he lost the amateur fight. That's all. Yeah. I don't know. I don't have much to say. Jaywolf, anything you want to say?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yushi is one of the top. I mean, for a rising star guy, he's like, his walkouts are fantastic. He's always hard stepping to the ring with some awesome techno music in the background playing, looking cool. I mean, one of his best walkouts when he had the Michael Jackson, like outfit on, and just, I mean, he's going to be one of the best walkouts tonight. I'm surprised that they're having him kick off the event. Because the event starts at they said it starts at 12 noon Japan time, which is 7 p.m. our time, right? So it's supposed to go all the way until 4 or 5 a.m. our Pacific time.
That's a good thing, Jaywolf. That is not a good thing.
Hey, well, there's going to be 2 intermissions, right? There's going to be 4 bouts to start the card off. And then there's going to be an opening ceremony. Then there's going to be 5 or 6 bouts, and then first intermission. And then they'll have the main card. And then, do you have the card, the bout order up there? It tells you.
I got the bout order. But Jay, so tell me, come on. So what can we expect from Yushi, whose fight style is entertainer, according to the Rizin Charlie guide?
Yushi is going to have a badass walkout. It's going to be awesome. He's going to bring the action. We're going to see what Joe Hiramoto, Ren's little brother, what he can do in the ring. This is his debut. So, I mean, we're going to see how good of a fighter he is. But I'm looking to see Yushi put on a show here and really kick the card off with a bang. So,
Chris, You seem so excited to talk about this fight. Any thoughts?
Yeah, no thoughts other than the fact that it's like y'all said, Yushi's gonna have an incredible entrance. I mean, I think Joe Hiromoto will probably channel a little bit of what his brother Ren Hiramoto's doing, and maybe we'll see Yushi get a first round knockout.
Jaywolf, do you have a pick in this fight?
Yushi, more experience, four bouts. This is his fifth bout, and Hiramoto's making his debut. Younger, I mean, we don't know anything about Hiramoto, if he can fight or whatever. So I'm looking for the experience of Yushi on the big stage, because it's going to be a massive stage. That's a huge, ask for a debuting fighter. Especially, how young does it say he is there? Does
20.
it say his age?
He's 20.
20 years old, yeah. So, I mean, that's a big task for a young fighter, even though he is Ren's little brother. So he's probably been in the gym with his older brother a long time. So, I mean, who knows? He might bring it, but like I said, I'm looking for Yushi to come in there and bring the action, have a fantastic walkout, and who knows if it's going to be, the walkout of the year so far is Yaman, and we got Yaman later on in the card in one of the biggest bouts of the evening. So it's going to be interesting to see who pulls off the best walkout for New Year's Eve.
Yeah, this should be pretty much an easy fight for Yushi, in my opinion. I don't know what Joe can bring that Yushi is properly prepared for. As far as I know, there's no special rules with this MMA match. It's just regular Rizin MMA rules, which Yushi's used to. Joe, making your debut on New Year's Eve is a tall order. Maybe puncher's chance, as they always say, but Yushi has weathered storms. I think he hasn't fought the highest level fighters. This could actually maybe be the highest level guy, but I still think it's an easy fight for Yushi to win. Just quickly, we got a question from Takero Man, Jaywolf. Will Rizin visit other regions in Southeast Asia, Thailand, Cambodia, etc., since ONE FC may go under soon? Should they seize the moment?
You darn right they should, Takero Wem. They should absolutely seize the moment, and especially if one championship goes under, which is, all the reports said their funding's supposed to run out, next year or whatever. They weren't getting Qatar funding, all that. Bibiano Fernandez just came out with a scathing report that just pretty much buried them and told fighters don't go there because their contract is so restricting, and they sit them on the sidelines for years at a time and don't give them fights and all this other stuff. It's just, and then they reneged on BB's contract where they promised Fernandez that afterwards he'd be like having a desk job and stuff like that, be like an ambassador type of job, and they reneged on that. So I mean, I can't believe they would do that to he was like one of their foundational guys to have won championships. So that just does not bode well for one's future. I mean, to me, they're probably going to be going to a strictly Muay Thai organization. So absolutely, they have built. I mean, in Singapore and all those Southeast Asian countries, like you're saying there, besides like Thailand, I would go to Singapore and definitely have a Rizin Singapore event. They just had a Rizin Azerbaijan event, right? So I mean, they're going to be doing some international events. So to answer to Carol Mann's question, absolutely, they should seize the moment. They should capitalize and go. And just like one is trying to come to Japan in the first of next year, they should go straight into one's territory as well and be like, oh, okay. So, and we saw the reports about how Barra's not even taking him as a threat. He's saying, hey, this is good for the Japanese mixed martial arts scene to have more people come here, see how they do it, see what their production and stuff like. And the same should be said for the Southeast Asian countries where one goes, and like I said, in Singapore, it's probably be where the biggest market would be. That's where one ran most of their events. Right?
Your time's run out. Chris, any thoughts?
Oh, my thoughts about, if Rizin's going throughout Southeast Asia. I mean, they still have aspirations on wanting to go to the U.S. So, I mean, I think that's probably going to be interesting to see what Rizin does in 2024 and beyond. And also, Sogukaku said, I think Rizin's more interested in giving dictators money, which is pretty much proof positive when it comes to Azerbaijan. I mean, if you look at the Bloody Elbow report. But still, though, I think Rizin's plans are only going to take them where the money leads them, so to speak. If not in the U.S., if not in Southeast Asia, then definitely throughout Japan and beyond. Now, let's go ahead and talk about this next fight.
Oh, Chris, hold on, Chris, I gotta get my thoughts, and also I'll transition, okay?
Okay, go ahead.
Quick
hey,
answer
you
is
scroll down. You scroll down on Chris, so hey.
I mean, come on.
Quick answer is no. Quick answer is no. They're not. They're not going to do Southeast Asia. Should they? I don't even think they should. I don't think Thailand really is an MMA place. If they want to do kickboxing, maybe they should just focus on Azerbaijan. I think, I think
that whole Caucasus region, right?
I think the USA show, but Cambodia, never. That's never going to happen in a million years. Anyway, we can move on. Chris, if you want to take the next fight, you can go ahead, sir.
What about Hong Kong, though?
Oh,
No, not Hong Kong.
Nice.
Absolutely not.
Why? What's wrong with Hong Kong?
It's still China, dude.
What would they? How could they sell a ticket in Hong Kong?
Right.
Load up with Chinese fighters and Hong Kong fighters.
There's really not a lot of Hong Kong MMA fighters that are like.
Well, all you need is a couple. I mean, you don't need to put the whole entire card of Hong Kong fighters. Look at what they did in Azerbaijan. They only had I guess they had an Azerbaijan fighter in a lot of the main cards, but I mean, for the rest of the bouts, it was international guys, so from all across the world. So, yeah,
but we can talk more about that later, Jaywolf.
Okay, yes. Get to the card.
The next fight on the card, the debut of Ryujin Nasukawa, all of 17 years old. He'll be the youngest fighter to ever compete in Rizin, by the way, against future Black Combat star Jongmin Shin. Andrew, you take it away.
Yeah, so we got the MMA debut of both these gentlemen. So, I mean, clearly Rizin wants Ryujin. They're gonna try to hop on the Ryujin train, try to make him something big after his brother. I'll just say right off the bat, he's not as exciting as his brother from the kickboxing matches I've watched. I'm presuming that this should be just an easy win for him, taking on a regional Korean kickboxing guy. Jaywolf?
Yeah, well, I mean, dude, he was pretty good he just fought literally like 2 weeks ago, right? Or 2 or 3 weeks ago. And he literally, Baragoat was sitting there, Sakaki Bara-san was sitting there ringside, and he gets on, Ryujin Nasukawa gets on the mic and is like, hey, Sakaki Bara-san, I want to fight mixed martial arts. And he's like, and Bara gets on the mic and says, talking about, hey, well, let's do it on New Year's Eve. And then he got him a fight, and this is technically the first foreigner of the night. Jongmin Shin is from Korea, but look, I'm looking. I don't know why. How old is Ryujin Nasukawa?
17.
See, he's only 17. So how can you sit there and say that? I mean, obviously he's not at his brother's level yet, but I mean, he put on a pretty good performance at Rise, and he was pretty good on the mic afterwards. That was one of the highlights of that event. Which was a fantastic event, an event of the year candidate for Kick, absolutely. And where he was interacting with Bara right there, ringside, was one of the highlights of the show. So I mean, I'm looking forward to see what he can do. This is obviously his mixed martial arts debut, but he did pretty well on Kick. So I mean, does he know the assignment? If he knows the assignment and we get superior rule set awesomeness from him, it could be cool.
As far as I know, it's regular MMA rules, nothing out of the ordinary, so that should be allowed. It's actually funny. Hands Like Nagano did asked if we follow Rise and we catch the card. I know you did, Jaywolf. I follow Rise. I'm still have to catch up on the card, but I know you love the card. You absolutely praised it to high heaven as one of the best shows.
Oh yeah, it was awesome. I watched it live all the way through. It was so much fun, and just highly recommend everybody check it out. There's places where you can watch the whole card online.
Well, on YouTube. They upload the entire
cool.
on YouTube. So
yeah, definitely check it out. It was a lot of fun, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Where Sakaki Bara-san, I call him Baragoat because he's one of the greatest of all time. But Sakaki Bara-san and Ryujin, they were having a fantastic interaction right there ringside, where Ryujin's asking to be on the New Year's Eve in mixed martial arts, and Baragoat's like, yeah, for sure, we'll see if we can get that done. And then he got it done. So I mean, it just adds to the story intrigue of this bout right here.
I'm moving on to Chris. Chris, any thoughts on this fight?
Oh, I think that this is just a showcase for Ryujin Nasukawa. I mean, if anything, I don't see Jungmin Shin doing anything out of the ordinary other than, potentially just losing this fight on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that Ryujin's probably going to win it in the same fashion as his brother. Maybe with a first round knockout, maybe with a second round knockout. Who knows? I mean, I just see Ryujin being showcased up to the masses in this fight. And I
That actually
think
brings up
Mike
that brings up a great question that Takaro Man has. Prospects to watch 2024.
24.
So
I mean, Ryujin's one of them, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think he's definitely one of them. I have a hard time picking prospects because I think the term is really overused and misused. More misused. I don't know, Jaywolf, who would you count as a prospect for 2024 in Rizin besides Ryujin?
Oh, I mean, dude, on this card, there's a bunch of prospects. Are we going by just age, or are we going by the amount of mixed martial arts fights they've got?
That's a problem. It's, you know what I mean? Technically, Daniel Cormier was a prospect when he was like 30. But
yeah, but he
so we're going by fights then.
But then you have Joe Arai, who's in his 20s, who's had about almost 30 fights. I mean, and he's double champion in Shuto. Is he a prospect? I don't know. The term prospect, I think, is really, there's no clear definition of it. So it's your own interpretation. So however you interpret prospect, who would you consider, Jaywolf?
We'll go with the amount of fights they got on the big stage, which is the Epic Rizin big stage, right? So we'll go. Definitely, we can put Ryujin in there. I mean, he's not Tenshin's little brother, of course, and who knows? In the first bout with Yushi and Joe Hiramoto, Ren's little brother could pull the upset. You never know. So I mean, and then we got, as we go up the card, there's more. I mean, should Shinobu Ota be considered a prospect at this point? He doesn't even have 10 fights.
I disagree. I don't consider him a prospect. Nothing.
Well, look at
prospect with him.
So, I mean, what about Ren Hiramoto?
UFC as well. He was also one of the other ones that talked about going to UFC as well.
Do you consider Ren Hiramoto a prospect then? Because he's only got 5 mixed martial arts bouts so far.
No.
So he's an established star.
Exemplifies being a prospect.
Well, okay, so you want him on their, like, the debutantes to be prospects only.
Like record, how they win, all that stuff. That to me, I think CJ brought up some good. These are good names. I misread one of the names. But yes, like these people have enough wins, enough backing to be considered prospects. They're not debutantes. They have strong wins and they've showcased exceptional skills. I don't think Ren has. I think Ren has shown that he cannot hang with some low level fighters or one of high level fighters. So that's just my thoughts.
Well, Ren's a star he's already pretty much a star. I don't know if you watched the Confession series, but I mean, the Japanese fans just absolutely love him. So
this will be a simple yes or no question because there's only one answer to this question that Falling Star wants to know. Rizin had the chance to be the second biggest promotion in terms of actually making money. They already are actually Falling Star. They actually are number 2. Should Rizin buy PFL if that were to happen?
Yes, get that whole roster from PFL.
Yes or no? J. Chris, should Rizin buy PFL?
No.
What? All right, you don't want that roster? They got the number 2 roster right now.
We got to talk about more important things like Japan's Rizin's first open finger glove match. Apparently, that's happening. So
they've had Yaman there before and open finger gloves, haven't they?
No, they haven't had. No. They haven't had. I mean, their MMA matches are open finger gloves, but this is their first kickboxing open finger glove match.
Okay. I thought they had Yaman on before. So, but okay, never mind.
No, you're thinking of the Rise. Rise was the one that you
right.
Yeah. This sticks out like a sore thumb, kind of having a K1 guy versus a breaking down guy. I have really nothing to say. I'm kind of indifferent on this fight. I'm not looking forward to it, nor not looking forward to it. Jaywolf?
I'm looking forward. Are you kidding me? You just said why it's an open-fingered glove small like Yaman likes to do in Rise. So I mean, those are awesome. Those produce bangers all the time. So I mean, and like you said, it's K1 versus Breaking Down, and that's Breaking Down was of course is Mikuru Asakura's show, and that's very popular over there in Japan. So this is gonna be a pretty cool bout right here, I think. I mean, like you're saying, K1 versus Breaking Down. I mean, don't get much better than that. An open finger glove as well for kickboxing rules. I mean, I think it's pretty cool. I think you guys are not giving it as due credit. And but I also like this, the only kick bout on the card, right? So I mean, I don't know. I think it's delivered the goods.
Yes. Jay Krish, any thoughts on this?
Well, I mean, it's like y'all been saying. It's the only kickboxing bout on the card. Tatsuki Shinoshita versus Daichi Tomizawa. And come to think of it, I, too, am not looking forward to this. But I'm curious about it. So, I don't have a prediction on this. I just hope these two bring some well-needed kick violence with open finger gloves.
You gotta kind of say it's a little bit embarrassing though if Tatsuki loses, because Tomizawa is a Breaking Down guy, and Tatsuki is a pretty much a K1 veteran.
Well, actually, both of them are K1 guys, right?
But Tatsuki, but I think Daichi's had some stints in K1, but not like he's not a regular K1 guy. I think he's been on the those level shows, Crush, and then he went on Breaking Down, and somehow. Here's the thing. I said it best when I was talking with Jim Ozeki. If you're Mikuru's friend, that is the ticket to Rizin. So any Japanese fighters who understand English who love this, or actually any American fighters, become Mikuru's friend. Go on Breaking Down. You will get a hot ticket to Rizin, no matter how bad of a fighter or how often you lose. So that's the best advice I can give. He's the Adam Sandler of the Japanese MMA industry. So good on everybody who milks off that.
You say so, Andrew. You say so.
And anyway, we're moving on to the next one. This is actually a fight I'm not really looking forward to, but listen, Suguru needs it anyway. So
I've been looking forward to this one. This is a good one.
Is it? This is so beneath. This is so beneath knee. Your pancreas champion.
Gosh.
You're taking on Dominator. I still don't know how he got that nickname, considering I've yet to see him dominate anybody. Anyway, Jaywolf, what are your thoughts on this fight? Former Deep champion taking on current King of Pancreas champion.
Yeah, two-time King of Pancreas champion. According to did you see Rizin's official write-up for this event? Man, they were.
I just watched the confessions. So won it twice.
According to if I'm remembering correctly, on Rizin 45 write-up on their official website, you should check that out. There's a bunch of cool information on that.
Like maybe it was interim. Maybe it was interim and then official.
Do you have your phone? Go to the Rizin's Twitter, scroll down to where you see they have all these cool stats. They're talking about like Reina has the most Rizin wins, and then like Horiguchi and like I was like right underneath her, and if he wins here, he's gonna tie her, and like Motoya has the most fights or something like that, or was it Motoya? But anyways, and they also the most win streaks, and they got Izawa up there, and they had Crow Cop in there on 5-0, and it's just check out Rizin's English Twitter account right now.
I don't see anything yet. Are you sure you didn't maybe misread it?
No, I'm not reading it in front of me right now. I'm going off of memory, so I'm just saying there's a bunch of cool stats. There's a bunch of cool stats on it. What?
Maybe they meant interim champion. Maybe he was interim champion.
Scroll down to where you see those stats are coming up, and there's the link to the article I'm talking about. I'm
not the stats. Well, anyway, Jaywolf. So tell us, what do you think about this fight?
Okay, anyways, yeah, that article was pretty awesome. Goes in depth about all the fights, including this one. They said they called me, a two-time Pancrase champion, and this one I think is going to be. This is the final of the before. There's 4 bouts and then the opening ceremony. And this is the final bout of that opening 4 bouts before the opening ceremony, right? So this is what they picked as to be like the main event of the opening bouts, so to speak. I think it's also going to be free on YouTube, like they've done previously years, right? So this is going to be between 2 savvy veterans, and Knee. They were just talking about it too on that Rizin article I was telling you about. Knee was coming off a soccer kick finish and winning the Pancrase title from a scissor kick, a scissor choke. So 2 sensational finishes that Knee's coming off of here. And Dominator, we know he brings the action as well. So, and they're both savvy veterans, got a lot of fights, as you can see there from the stats right there. So I'm really looking forward to this one to bring the action. And we know Knee knows the assignment. So, I mean, because his previous Rizin fight was a soccer kick finish. Yeah, so this has potentially be superior rule set awesomeness here.
Kicked his high school friend in the fucking face when he was down.
After knocking out his mouthpiece. He knocked his mouthpiece out. That was such a fantastic highlight. I'm sure they'll show it in the VTR for this fight.
Jay Chris, your thoughts on this fight?
Oh, on Suguru Knee versus Satoshi Dominator Yamasu, you're right, Andrew. I haven't seen Yamasu dominate anybody, so he really shouldn't have that nickname. But then again, I don't think your bouncer friend has any chance of winning this fight either. I mean, I think that Yamasu is going to try and dominate Knee via submission.
Listen, my guess is probably Dominator got that name because he probably dominates people in the gym. That has happened before. Who was it? Anthony Parash got they named the Hippo because he would just like smother guys when they would do the grappling in training. But we never saw that in like his UFC fights. I disagree with Jay Chris. I think I'm gonna be with Jaywolf on this one. I think this is an easy win for Knee. Knee is gonna either knock him out or rip his arm off. Knee has shown that he is that he can knock people out and he can submit them by choking them with his knees, like you said, or by ripping their arm out. And the only thing I can see Yamasu do is maybe, I don't know, just wear him out for 3 rounds. I don't think that's gonna likely happen though. This is gonna be another win for Knee, and then Knee, listen. I think with this win, and then maybe if he goes on to win, one of the more higher level guys, and especially with the King of Pancrase Championship, still having that, he's definitely in line for a title shot sometime down the line. I think he's definitely made a turnaround since his first stint in Rizin.
Well, does the Dominator have wrestling? He might have the better wrestling. So and if he knows the assignment of ground at Knees, it could be interesting.
Well, here's the thing. So he does. That's how he kind of beat Bainoa that way a little bit, but he also got the red card in that fight that really favored him in that match. There is the wrestling might be better than Yamasu than Knee, but I don't think it's gonna really matter. It's not like Yamasu has like world class wrestling like Ota anyway. But we're gonna move on to the next fight. I think it's a fight that a lot of people are unironically looking forward to.
Hey, you got to read Falling Star's comment too. You just see Falling Star's comment?
What? Oh, Rizin should have his first U.S. show in L.A. Big Japanese market. No Shohei Ohtani likes MMA. Well,
yes,
we'll see.
Brilliant idea.
Let's see. Let them first have a show in Hawaii, then we can do L.A.
I mean,
no, they also not only do a show in LA because of Ohtani connection. Also, they got Yamamoto, right? And I don't know if did they finalize that deal for him too. Anyways, baseball is huge in Japan, and they got 2.
I want to hear what Chris has to say. As well. Sorry.
Real quick, I think that might happen if they do end up going to the states beyond just Hawaii, or they're not going to get any people in North Dakota. Let's be real, but. If they do go to California, it would be cool for them to do that because of the Shohei Ohtani and Yoshinobu Yamamoto connection. However, it would all have to depend on the, simplicity of the California State Athletic Commission, because they just sanctioned, and I don't know why, They just sanctioned slap fighting, and they obviously just sanctioned bare knuckle fighting as well. So, fingers crossed that
they're getting progressive in California. Apparently,
yeah. If they sanction slap fighting,
yes, they did. But fingers crossed that the superior rule set gets approved in the Golden State. That's
absolutely. Well, that'd be a dream come true. You know what? Not only do a LA show to have Shohei Ohtani ringside and Yamamoto ringside, open an LA office so I can come work for you guys. I'll fight with that LA commission.
They did get Naomi Osaka to come to. I think it was last year's, or no, it was a supervisor show, right?
Yeah,
supervising for this year. Naomi Osaka was there, and they've got it. King Kazu, obviously, because his son fights. Listen, if they somehow got Shohei Ohtani, listen, I'm gonna, that's like a big get for them, and listen,
it'd be huge, bro. Probably their biggest celebrity get. I mean, he's a superstar right now. Probably the biggest Japanese superstar in the world right now. I mean, and beyond just a Japanese superstar, the biggest, highest paid sports star in the world right now.
Yeah.
So
let's talk about Ampo versus Kubo.
Yes.
Jaywolf, and by the way, special MMA rules. I don't know the exact. Excuse me, what the exact rules are, but it's going to be 5 minutes, 2 rounds. So
yes, that's what it said on the Rizin article on Rizin's official website. That's what the special rules are, and I think only Kotomura's fight is going to be with a special altered rule set. I think this one is the full superior rule set.
Anything about grounded? Anything on when it goes to the ground or anything?
No. It just said the special rules had to pertain to their 5 minutes by 2 rounds.
That could change. Because remember Yushi Kotomura, there was no strikes allowed to the head for their fights.
Yeah, on the ground. Yeah, on the ground.
On the ground. Yeah. So that it could be different. So I don't know, Jaywolf. So what do you think? Ampo had some shit to talk about MMA last year. Now he said his MMA is not going to be a boring fight. We got Kubo, who's kind of, as you see, 2-2. Obviously we know where his strengths and his weaknesses lie. What do you think? How this fight will go?
Man, I love this bout. I love it. It's 2 kickboxing crossovers.
Oh yeah, like you said, K1, and they never met at K1. So
right, exactly, and now they're meeting in mixed martial arts, and I believe it's going to be under the full superior rule set because they're both strikers from K1, so they're going to want all the strikes, including all the grounded strikes. The superior rule set.
Well, Paul Daly and MVP were supposed to have a strikers lights.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, that was under the unified, pussified rule set of UFC and Bellator. So that's not. We don't have to worry about that crap over here. So this is the superior rule set allowing full pride rules, upgraded pride rules, 12-6 elbows. And I believe that these 2 strikers from K1 are going to allow all of those strikes. And the only thing is custom rules about is that it's 2 rounds of 5 minutes instead of 3. So I'm really looking forward to this. I don't know who to pick. I mean, Kubo, remember, in one of his previous fights, he had a sensational 12-6 elbow TKO, and it was one of the highlights of the landmark card that he was on. It was in a cage too. So this one's in the Rizin ring, but I mean, look, I'm gonna give the edge to Kubo because Ampo is his debut in mixed martial arts, right? So I'm gonna pick Kubo, hopefully by another superior rule set. Awesomeness finish. I don't know if he's going to get 12-6 elbow TKO again, but hopefully something like a grounded knee or a soccer kick or a stomp. But you never know. Ampo's tough, man, and he's had some great kickboxing bouts. They both have, so I'm really looking forward to this one. This is going to be really fun to see who wins this one.
It's funny. There's about maybe half a dozen people on this card who are actually making their MMA debut, or at least MMA rule set debut.
Right, that's why I was asking about for what your definition of MMA prospects are, right? There could be a bunch of them on this card.
Well, so how do you consider a prospect of someone who's 0-0 a prospect? I think that goes against what I mean. If they did great kickboxing, that's great. But if they go to another discipline, I think that's unfair to call them a prospect for a sport that they haven't even trained at. But it's interesting that if you look, and Kobe Day, I think you'll find this fascinating if you ever do one of your spreadsheets on best debuts, you're gonna this is an interesting card to watch just because there's so many people who are making their debuts in MMA on this card. Some people would say, I think, would be like, why are you doing that for New Year's Eve? That's kind of fucked up. You know, they're supposed to be the biggest show of the year. Why are you doing that? It's definitely an interesting choice. Jay Krish, your thoughts on Kubo versus Ampo?
Well, I think in a way, Rukia Ampo was being hypocritical back in March when he fought Borkar in Rizin, in the most cherished kickboxing fight in Rizin history because of the records, because of the fact that he kind of underestimated the sport of MMA, saying nobody wants to see that, it's boring. I mean, I'm surprised he didn't go full Badr Hari said, and saying, all that hugging and shit.
He kind of did. Yeah, actually, the full quote is basically it's between two naked men hugging. He kind of said that. That's what the original quote was.
But he went back on that, and now he said it's awesome, and he said he can't wait to fight.
I know. It's where the picture comes from. Jay Krish, go ahead.
Please. Thank you. Anyways, when it comes down to this particular fight, you have to give the edge to Kubo because of the fact that he is more experienced in this type of combat. But I won't be surprised if Rukia Ampo, knowing what he knows, he probably might, throw some kicks, some strikes, basically try not to embarrass himself like Errol Zimmerman did against Manoa Man almost a decade and a half ago. But still, yeah, I know. I'm just bringing up the references, aren't I? But still, point of the matter is, I don't see a true winner in this fight because I'm kind of undecided on how this fight will go between two kickboxers and mixed martial arts. All I just want to see is violence on display. Nothing more, nothing less, and I don't think it's going to reach the judges' scorecards either.
I agree. I don't think this is going to go beyond the first round. I think we had, what was it? I think it was the Okuda fight. Kubo showed a little bit of grappling, but obviously not world class. And I don't think that Ampo is going to come in this fight and grapple. I'm hoping he stays on the feet.
True. But on the other hand, at least the only antics we'll see from this fight is Sarah Kubo singing and no stupid business from Shibatar.
That's true. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. So we'll definitely get if the fight sucks, at least the Kubo Sarah entrance will
incite the masses.
Will be that'll be the most exciting thing. But no, I actually think this fight is interesting. I'm curious to see how it pans out. Could be bad, it could be good. But I'm curious nonetheless. But I'm still gonna pick Kubo to win. But things I don't know if he can knock out Ampo. Kubo was never a knockout guy. He was always a volume guy. Ampo has a knockout power, I think. But I just think that Kubo is going to bring the mixed part of this fight and actually know what to do and how he can win, as opposed to Ampo coming in and this being his first fight.
And he knows the assignment too. So
Sorry, Jaywolf?
Oh, I was just saying that I was agreeing with you because Kubo, he knows the assignment. We know for sure he knows the assignment because he has a 12-6 elbow finish, TKO finish.
Well, let's see. But maybe hopefully they don't change the rules where they don't allow that stuff, where they allow that stuff, because it does say custom rules. It could change. Anyway, moving on to the next fight, we got flyweight. We got you double champ Joe Arai, strawweight and flyweight Shuto champ, taking on one of Big Rose boys. Like I said, being his best friend, being a friend of his, you can lose as many times as you need to, and you'll still get to face the Shuto champ on New Year's Eve, Hiroya. Anyway, Jaywolf, your thoughts on this fight?
Man, another one with two savvy veterans. Look at their records. They're very, deceptive records here. And like you said, Joe Arai is a Shuto champion. Even got a tweet from the GOAT Kaposa on Twitter about this bout right here with a highlight of Joe Arai on it, getting a fantastic finish. So, looking forward to this bout. And I think I'm going to lean towards Arai instead of Hiroya, but you never know. Like you said, Hiroya friends with Mikuru. I mean, and he's looking for it to get a win here. I mean, man, I don't know. It could go either way, I guess, but I'm gonna pick Arai because he's a Shuto champ, like you're saying. Got love from the GOAT Kaposa on Twitter with a tweet about this bout. So I mean, he's coming. I think he's coming in the bout as a favorite. So I'm looking for him to win. It just depends on who knows the assignment. Which one of these guys knows the assignment is going to get the finish?
Okay, Jay Chris.
And I think this fight is gonna be another showcase. I mean, yeah, Hiroya ended up losing the last two fights. His last two fights. Of course, he got screwed over in the Yusaku Nakamura fight. But actually, he got screwed over in both the Yusaku Nakamura and Yuki Ito fight. But I don't think it's going to get any better for him here against Joe Arai because of the fact that, again, this is a showcase fight for Arai. A lot of people are going to be watching, even if it is early in the card. And I think that if Joe Arai does a good showing, who knows? Maybe we might see him in the Rizin flyweight title picture.
Especially if they do a Jeep Grand Prix. And I'm glad you brought up about how.
Why did I mention that?
Why not? That's awesome. The Japanese fans are calling for it. I mean, Drew, you can't let us know what Barago said about that on the interview yet, I guess, until it drops. But I'm sure you asked about the Grand Prix and stuff. But Jay Chris, I'm glad you brought up Hiroya's record where his 3 decision losses were very close. And he this could have gone either way. A couple of them were split decisions, right? So he's looking to get a win finally. So he's going to bring it. So I don't know.
He's facing the Shudo champion, Jaywolf. He's facing a double champion. Excuse me, facing a double champion. And the problem is that Hiroya, all of his losses are to high level guys. He hasn't really beaten any. And here's the funny thing: he's probably the best out of Mikuru's friends and boys that fight, like him, Tyson Nishitani, and a few others. But he's still not the level that I don't think you can beat a Shuto champion with at. I mean, Joe Arai is a tough fighter. He's a tough guy to put down. He's a guy that just keeps coming forward, and he's a guy that's a finish or be finished guy. So I don't know if Hiroya can weather that storm even for past beyond the first round. This is going to be he's on like a 10 or 11 fight win streak, CJ. So yeah. That's the other thing. Hiroya's coming off two or three losses in
close, but decision losses though. Close decision losses.
But again, look at the guy he's facing. Look at who he'll be facing.
Yeah, but
I think this is an easy win for Arai. If it goes beyond the first round, I'll be sincerely surprised. I really will be.
All right. Okay. Jake, you want to add any more to kind of cut you off?
Well, Sokukaku did say that Joe Arai isn't on a huge winning streak, but again, he has highlight real power in both his knockouts and submissions, so I'm pretty sure that he'll think of something. Now, let's go.
Man, also, people watch, you can see the Shudo fight on YouTube, the one that he won the flyweight. It's a very good fight. I highly recommend it. It's very violent. Very, 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 very violent.
I'm pretty sure it is. Now let's go to a fight that's in the mythical unicorn division that Rizin doesn't promote.
Which is?
Put a banner? Oh, I put a banner. There it is. Igor Tanabe, Shinzo Anzai. This is Tanabe's debut at welterweight. He no longer can go by Fat Ninja anymore. He needs to go by Skinny Ninja or
I know, right?
He's no longer
Fat Ninja. Fat Ninja, it's got to be a light heavyweight at least, or middleweight at least, right?
Yeah, no, but he used to be heavyweight size. That's why he used to be heavyweight. I mean, listen, I'm just gonna quickly say this is an easy win for Tanabe. He's gonna take down and submit Anzai first round, no questions asked. Jaywolf, your thoughts?
Really, you think so? I mean, Anzai, isn't he 2-2 in the UFC? He's a UFC veteran, right? Or am I thinking of somebody else?
Yeah, he's a UFC
veteran. What?
Well, hey, if he's got 2 UFC wins, I don't think it's just going to be some pushover that Igor is just going to be able to just steamroll. And he's going to put up some kind of a fight at least. So it should be interesting. This to me is the Fat Ninja's real first test. Or well, not obviously he's been tested before, but I mean, to me, I think Anzai is going to put up more of a fight than any of his other opponents that Igor's faced so far.
More than Abe? More than Daichi Abe?
Oh, I guess you're right. I mean, Abe was a veteran, but he wasn't a UFC veteran like Anzai. Oh, he was? Okay. Yeah. Well, excuse me then. Well, then, look, then maybe he will steamroll him. I don't know. But I just think that we'll see. We'll see. Hey, Code Mayday said that this is proper matchmaking for Tanabe. Okay,
yes,
well,
it's an easy win for him. It's an absolute easy win for him. Code Mayday, come on, back me up on this. You know this is an easy win. I know you think the same with me. Come on, say in the chat. Anyway, Jay Chris. Well, I'm sorry. Before I go to you, Jay Chris, Jaywolf, you have a pick for who wins?
Yeah, Igor Tanabe, the Fat Ninja, by submission.
First
so
round?
I just think, well, hopefully it'll be. I don't want to be a first round again, but by second round at least. So I mean, especially you guys are telling me now that this is going to be a pushover. So
yes,
we'll see.
All
right, we'll see. I guess.
Got knocked out by MVP at that Bellator X Rizin show back in 2019.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
Jay Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Fat Ninja versus Anzai.
Well, let's face it. Anzai's coming off of back-to-back losses, both via finish.
That's who.
Oh, okay.
And I think that's the guy who also was on the Combate, that Japan-Mexico show.
That's right. That was him. Yes. Yeah. That was a good bout, too.
He got whooped by Victor Psycho Valenzuela.
Yeah.
No, that was a banger fight, though. It wasn't some crappy fight. It was a really fun fight from him.
Okay,
so
you gotta be on my side of this. You gotta be thinking Fat Ninja walks through Anzai, right?
I mean, duh. Isn't it obvious? Igor Tanabe over Shinzo Anzai via first round submission. We know the story by now, but the thing is, he's fighting at welterweight. I mean, Andrew, I feel like you could probably take him if given the opportunity. But
I mean, the funny thing is, I don't even know if Anzai should be at welterweight as well. I think Anzai could probably make lightweight with his size.
Come to think of it, he's a former middleweight King of Pancrase champion. So
yeah, but Pancrase middleweight is dog shit.
Wow. Why'd I even mention that? But still, though, point of the this is another showcase fight for Igor Tanabe. We're going to see him probably move on to bigger and better things no matter what goes on in the divisions that Rizin doesn't put over. Because let's face it, Tanabe is pretty much at money weight at this point. He can fight, from 170 to 205, maybe to heavyweight. The point is, I think Rizin needs to do a better job of putting him over because if they're not careful, they may lose him.
Listen, if I'll say this, if Tanabe wins, listen, if I know they don't bring in foreign fighters anymore for the most part, but maybe because he was in Hawaii, I think the only fight you can maybe do with Tanabe is him versus Ray Cooper if Tanabe wins this, because I don't think Cooper is going to be with PFL next year. Likely not. I don't think so.
You don't think so? Really? Yes, definitely bring Cooper over if he's affordable and he's not going to be under PFL contract. Absolutely, he's an exciting fighter, and maybe a change of scenery will do him some good, and he'll bring the action again. He has some fantastic bouts with Justin Gaethje and all these people. So, I mean. Oh, it says Ray Cooper's 185 or 205 now. Well, then have Igor go back up.
Unless Tanabe wants to go back to 185. I
want to ask you, what are the odds for this bout? Are the odds still posted on Bovada?
I have no idea. I don't pay attention to that shit.
What? Oh man, a lot of people love the betting odds. We got some in the Rizin Discord.
I don't care about that stuff. But I let other people care about that stuff.
So okay, I mean, hey, fans love it. So I mean,
betting odds when Tapology, the faithful over at Tapology, has it 98% for Tanabe.
Okay. Odds you need. We got a quick question from our good friend Falling Star, and he wants to know: should Rizin try their best to sign Hideki Yoshinari to a full-time contract? He said he's in Muay Thai now. He said his time in Muay Thai is limited. He's only 22.
Yes.
But there's no one in his weight class. Not yet.
What's his weight class again? Strawweight?
I think it's a little bit like strawweights in kickboxing.
He fights anywhere between 108 to 120 pounds.
120 is that's way too even big for him. Yeah, that's like the most he can weigh in. But for the most part, yeah.
Did you just say that Joe Arai is a strawweight pancrase champ?
Yes, but that's also. But he also fights at 125. He's also an MMA guy. He's not a kickboxer. So
right, yeah. I know, but I mean, you give Nadaka a couple strawweight guys from One Pride MMA or whatever, and doesn't I think one has a couple strawweight fighters too. So there's some guys out there.
They're all Thai guys. So
well, whatever, just get them a couple, get them some experience, and then match them up with Joe Arai.
I'm not
I do see Nadaka as one of those prospects that we should be talking about.
Yeah, he's a kickboxing prospect, but man, he needs people in his weight class. And I guess since we're talking about prospects, going back to debuting, we have the debut of Cozy in his MMA debut, taking on Kota Miura, who we talked about before. Jaywolf. I mean, what do you have to say about this fight? I think this is in the bizarro matchmaking category.
Well, this is the one that's probably going to be the custom rules where they do not allow grounded strikes, right? Just because that's how Kota Miura has always fought. They don't allow I don't know if they allow elbows and stuff on the ground, but or grounded knees as well. But I know for sure they don't allow soccer kicks and stomps in most of his bouts. So, which is weird because his dad is a famous Japanese soccer star.
Look at that face, Jaywolf. That's a face that Tyler loves. He's not going to have that.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll see what the custom rules bout is with this, but we know for sure it's only 2 rounds of 5 minutes, right? So I mean, it's going to be like most of Kota's other bouts. So and he's got the mixed martial arts experience here. So and Cozy, how old is he? He's over 35, right?
Yeah
34.
Oh, he's not even 35 yet. Oh, interesting. Okay, so maybe Cozy might hold more.
He's rarely ever been knocked down in kickboxing.
Yeah, and he's not even 35 yet, so he's still got plenty of miles left. And debuting at mixed martial arts against a young kid, I mean, this could go either way, you guys. I don't know. I mean, especially look, if there's going to be custom rules where there's not soccer kicks or stomps, I mean, maybe that gives Kota a little bit of an edge because it takes some strikes away from Cozy, but we'll see. Hey, I got a question to me right here. Look at that. Code Mayday asked me, why can't we have kickboxers kickbox? Well, we do. We have. Well, we do have a couple kickboxers on this that are making an MMA debut. That's what the Epic Rizin is a mixed martial arts promotion first. It's a superior rule set first, and then a couple kickbouts.
It's a combat sports promotion. That's how they're a combat sports promotion.
Yeah, but what we always say, remember, we want at least a minimum of 15 bouts and no more than 2 to 3 kick bouts, and especially when it's in the ring only. We don't want kick in the cage, right? Like one does. So we only on the numbered events where it's in the ring, and no more than 2 to 3 on a card. I did love it when they did the kickboxing one-night tournament. I thought that was really fun. But for kickboxing, they should have it in Rise or King K1, that's where the kickboxing should be. Then they should only have a couple kickbouts in Rizin. Rizin's probably should be a superior rule set.
Were you talking about the one with Osaka that got cut off on Live Now?
Yes.
Okay. No, Jaywolf, if you're saying that was a good card, I'm sorry. I can't take that seriously.
It was fun to see the one-night tournament in the Rizin ring.
It was not.
Oh, hey, God, you're just hating because Live Now screwed it up. But other than that, it was cool.
It was also a terrible show anyway. Sorry,
okay.
We gotta move on to J. Chris.
All right, hey, sorry, Cole Baby Day. I hope I answered your question good enough right there.
J. Chris, Kota Miura versus Cozy making his MMA debut. Kota Miura is looking to bounce back from his loss to Yaman. Yaman beat Cozy. Do we have MMA math or whatever combat force math working here? Your thoughts, sir?
I don't know because Koji lost to Ryusha Yashizawa. As you said, Kota Miura lost to Ren Sugiyama, a.k.a. Yaman. I mean, I think this fight is pretty much a gimme, especially considering the fact that nobody thought that Koji was going to face off against Jahan Ingram on that Mayweather-Deji exhibition, but he managed to take it to him for 4 rounds before the fight was stopped. But still, though, point of the matter is Koji Tanaka's MMA debut. I think that he's going to probably just have fun and go out there and look to, beat up Kota Miura. But I do think that Miura is probably going to win this fight. If not by finish, then definitely by decision.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with Jay Chris. I don't know how long Koji's been training in MMA, but Kota Miura has been training a lot more in his 2 or 3 years, however long he's been doing it. Yeah.
Well, did you see that? Watch the confessions. Koji's been training with Shin Aoki, right?
So did Yusuke Yachi, and that didn't really help him against. Okay. Also, I hope he's not taking striking advice from Shin Aoki. That's the last person he should be taking striking advice from.
No. On the confessions series, it was mostly grappling that they were showing highlights of. So
I know. Yes, but listen, you can't. There's just you need time with that stuff. That's not enough you can learn in, I don't know, a few months to prepare for a fight that's going to last for 5 minutes or 2 rounds. There's still a lot of things that need to be worked on. I still think they should have done Cozy versus Catfish, which we'll talk about. We'll talk about his match later. I think.
Yeah, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this card. Now we're getting into some really fun matchups here.
I mean, yeah, this is an interesting matchup. I don't know if this is fun.
It is fun. Yeah, listen, I'm talking about super fun matchups coming up here. This is getting the main part of the card coming up. These are like the appetizers that we're getting through here, and now we're getting in the real there were some good ones that we just talked about, but I mean, not like these main bouts that were coming up now.
I do agree with Kobe though. If the kickboxing matches are between 2 good fighters, I'll have 10 kickboxing fights on New Year's. Well, unfortunately, Rizin doesn't like to do that. Actually, they could have booked Anpo versus Buakaw rematch. I think that would have been fair, but yeah.
Again, Rizin is a mixed martial arts superior rule set awesomeness organization first, kickboxing second. If you want kickboxing, go to King K1 or Rise.
And speaking of Catfish, we got Ota versus Catfish, and Catfish's MMA debut, regular MMA rules. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna put it simply. It's gonna be Ota. Crotch, just smashing his crotch on Ashizawa for 3 rounds, I think, in my opinion. Listen, but if you saw the confessions, Catfish is confident. He's incredibly confident that he's going to win this, so I'll give him that. Jaywolf, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm on the Oda train too. I mean, he's freaking an Olympic silver medalist wrestler, so he's got the grappling. And Catfish is making his debut. We know Ota knows the assignment as well. He has some fantastic superior rule set finishes. One of the best ones that we've seen, where he went through like all 3 different superior rule set strikes, the ground and knees, soccer kicks, and stomps to get one of the best TKOs we've seen. So Ota knows the assignment. He's got the wrestling. Catfish making his debut. So, I mean, it's probably going to be one-way traffic. Ota's going to just run him over.
Jay Chris?
I think this fight is definitely going to go the way of Ota, especially because of his Olympic pedigree. I mean, let's face it. Nobody wants to see Ryusei Catfish Ashizawa outside of his entrance. Other than that, dude's going to get his ass whooped. Plain and simple. I mean, I'm not saying how, but I'm just gonna say it. Ashizawa's gonna get his ass whooped.
Yeah, that's I don't even think he's gonna get his ass whooped. He's just gonna He's just gonna be taken down for 3 rounds, and that's all she wrote. I still think they should do Ashizawa versus Cozy in the MMA rematch. It would at least be fun from a trash talk point of view. And I know he talked about Cozy said he wants to do it in Osaka next year, so. Regardless, I hope they at least do that. This is a fight I am not looking forward to. I am dead set against. Sorry, Jaywolf. But
that's fine. Let's move on. Now we're getting into this is what I'm talking about, the meat and potatoes of this card, where it's just the real substance.
CJ is still here. Obviously, CJ is the biggest Yuki Matoya fan. Taking on Vince Morales, newly hired JTT Japan top team striking coach Vince Morales, former UFC fighter.
That's right.
Jaywolf.
3-5 UFC fighter. 3-5 and undefeated Bellator fighter. 2-0 in Bellator as well. Make sure you point that out.
I'm very glad that his stats are very similar to the best ice skating team in Jamaica, Jaywolf. Thank you so much for pointing that out.
Hey, 3 UFC wins. He's got 3 UFC wins, and he's got 2 Bellator wins. So
okay. I'm happy that we're on par with being the best ice skater in Jamaica. Anyway, Jaywolf. So my question, this is an interesting because Yuki Matoya trained at ATT in Florida with Kyoji. We got Yuki Matoya, ATT adjacent, taking on JTT, Vince Morales. Who wins?
I don't know. I'm really looking forward to this one. Like I said, it's a debut of a UFC veteran in the Epic Rizin ring under the superior rule set awesomeness. I'm really looking forward to see what he can do. I mean, and not only just a UFC veteran, a 2-0 in Bellator veteran as well. I mean, you say this guy cannot
kills all the UFC veterans. He's beaten all. He beat Scoggins. He beat I'm forgetting the Brazilian guy.
Alan Nascimento.
Did he beat Alan Nascimento or was it no contest? I can't remember.
It was he beat Alan Nascimento. The no contest.
Again, the other guy. The other guy who
he had was against Felipe Efrain.
Oh yeah, that was the one But the guy this year, he knocked out the guy this year as well, Jaywolf.
Yeah, and this is going to be another foreigner he's going up against. And I know you don't count this guy as a foreigner because he's got, his visa already. So you move the goalposts on what we can count as foreign fighters. Saying that
he lives in Japan, so that doesn't. So we are.
He's American. He's non-Japanese.
Anyway, sorry, Joe. Go ahead, Jaywolf.
Oh, okay, I'm just saying that I count him as a foreign fighter since he's American, non-Japanese. But no, you're right. They like matching up Yuki Matoya against strong foreign fighters and former UFC guys, and this is going to be this is one of the best bouts on the card. I think I'm really looking forward to this one, and I don't know. I want to see what Vince Morales can do. Like I said, a UFC Bellator veteran. Debuting on the superior rule set. I want to see how he handles that. And you said he's a striking coach at JTT, so he's going to be knowing the assignment. He better be knowing the assignment. And we know Yuki Matoya knows what he's doing in the Rizin ring. So, I mean, and he's beat all the other former UFC guys he's come up against. So it's going to be a banger. I just can't wait to see it. Really.
I would just like to also correct myself. It's Rogerio Balturin. That's who we.
Balturin. Yeah, you're right.
Last year. Jay Chris, your thoughts on this ATT versus JTT?
Well, let's face it. Montoya is 3-1 against American opponents, 3-2 against ex or future UFC fighters, and this fight will mark his 6th former or future UFC opponent, and 5th American that he's facing off against. I mean, I don't know. It kind of sells itself, don't you think? But then again, you have to realize that Montoya's record on or around New Year's Eve is actually pretty damn good when you think about it. I mean, this is going to be the first time that Vince Vendetta Morales is going to be on this type of stage, and he's going to probably have a lot of nervous kinks to get out of himself. So I won't be surprised if Montoya wins, but I also won't be surprised that Morales displays a good showing, at least for somebody who's fighting and rising for the first time. I mean, again, it won't be the first time he faced off against an American on New Year's Eve, and they were just nervous as all hell fighting on the holiday. I mean, watch Montoya's fight against Matt Manzanares, by the way.
Yeah. I think Jay Chris put it perfectly. I think Matoya, he's like the inverse Kai who wins on New Year's Eve for some reason. So I think Matoya, I think with that training in ATT really helps Matoya. I think he's a much better grappler than Vince Morales. I think he's maybe the striking. I don't think he beats him there, but Matoya's always had sneaky good grappling that a lot of people are not that they don't prepare for. And I know he's striking he's wanted to showcase his striking recently and it's looked good. But I don't think he's going to win on the feet. I think he's going to win on the ground personally. I think it goes all 3 rounds. And Kobe Day brings up a great point. Vince Morales lives in Japan because Rizin exists. He wouldn't be in the country without Kai Sakura. So thank you so much. Backing me up there. Appreciate it. Good sir. Anyway, moving on to a fight of the former tough fighters, Ogi Kubo versus Dodson. Jaywolf.
This is the one, brother. This is going to be determined. It even said on the Rizin article that I was telling you guys to go read on Rizin's website with all those fantastic stats and stuff. When they were hyping this fight right here and giving the breakdown of this fight, they said that the winner of this fight is likely fighting for the title next year. So this is an unofficial number one contenders bout right here for the Fly title.
Of course, of course it is, because of the fact that when you think about it, you got a former Ultimate Fighter runner-up in Hiromasa Okikubo versus a former Ultimate Fighter winner and two-time UFC flyweight title challenger in Dodson. I mean, obviously, this fight sells itself, especially considering that Dodson's the current BKFC flyweight champion. So, yeah, I agree. Whoever wins this fight is definitely going to, but I also say this, whoever wins this fight is definitely going to give either Makoto Shinryu Takahashi or Kyoji Horiguchi a very hard time.
All right, Jay Chris, now we're even on interruptions because I interrupted you about the Grand Prix earlier, and you interrupted me right before I got to say that Dodson was the bare knuckle champion, and you got there first. That's all right. Hey, this is going to be a badass fight. I can't wait, and I'm looking for Dodson to win this one. I know Hiromasa's a really good fighter, but it's just wait. What's Kobe Day say? This is the one, Jaywolf, when he sees a big wave or. No, hey, this is a good fight right here, Kobe Day. Like we were saying, this is determined number one contender for the main event of this New Year's Eve collaboration event right here. So between Horiguchi and Shinryu, right? This is going to be determined who's fighting next for the title right here in this bout. So yes, this is one of the big ones on this New Year's Eve card right here. And I'm looking for Dodson. He's been on a tear lately. Just fantastic fights in Rizin, fantastic fights in bare knuckle, winning the title on bare knuckle, on his way to challenging for the title in Rizin. So Hiromasa, Grand Prix winner in Rizin as well. So just up against a very tough competition, I might add. So this is going to be a really fun matchup right here. I'm really looking forward to this. But I got Dodson winning. Hopefully by superior rule set knockout. Depends on he has shown some ground at knees before, but I'd like to see some soccer kicks and stomps, of course. So I want to see who knows the assignment. Okay. That's what I'm looking to win here.
Okay, Jaywolf, I'm going to go to Jay Chris. Jay Chris, your thoughts?
I got to agree with Jaywolf on this one, Andrew. Especially when you think about it. Dodson has been pretty much dominant ever since he left the UFC. He's been beating people up left, right, and center in bare knuckle boxing. Mm-hmm. He's knocked out. Obviously, who can remember? Last New Year's Eve, he KO'd Hideo Tokoro and made him do the damn stanky leg. And then bounced back and beat up Gerard Grant in similar fashion in bare knuckle boxing. I think that Dodson is going to be the more dominant fighter coming into this fight. Mm-hmm. Even though Ogi Kubo lost back-to-back times, especially to three top fighters in Social Kim, Kyoji Horiguchi, and Juan Archuleta, he is going to give Ogi Kubo a tough time. But I will not be surprised if Dodson wins this fight via knockout in the first or second round. If it's the third round, who knows? It could be anybody's fight. But I'm saying first or second round knockout for Dodson. And maybe he'll probably pose like a mascot afterwards.
I definitely think I'll give second round. I think Okubo we're definitely seeing near the end of his run. I think he even kind of hinted at retirement in the confessions. Those losses, those back-to-back losses were really bad. The Horiguchi loss was really particularly bad because he just looked like compared to the other two fights, he looked terrible against Horiguchi.
Basically, he looked like, as my nephew says, dog water.
Yeah. I think we said, listen, Oyukubo's peak was winning the Grand Prix. I'm happy he got it. If you saw the confessions, he moved from a shitty studio apartment to a house. He's got a Volvo or whatever car he bought. He's got a wife. He's got a kid. He wants to have another kid. So he had his moments. He had his what is it? He had his 4 touchdowns in one game. Mario Children reference.
Yeah, the Al Bundy reference.
You had it with the tournament, with winning the tournament, being Kai. Not a lot of people say they could beat Kai, and he did. But I think since then, I think everything, just father time and all the damage just catch up with him. Dotson's gonna run right through him. Unfortunately, this is Dotson's fight to win. I have to agree with Kobe. I think the Tokuro match was a fun match to make because Tokuro is always fun to watch. But in terms of a pure number one contenders match, Okubo can't fight Horiguchi again. Well, in Japan, you can kind of get away with it. In Japan, they really don't care. They shouldn't, but really, Dodson should be taking on Tamarov, or at least maybe Sho Arai, maybe next, and decide who to fight. But yeah,
or throw him in a Grand Prix. Drew, can you give us a little teaser? What does Kakibara say?
I'm not saying anything at all. We have to wait until tomorrow, Friday, whenever I decide to post it. But Chris can tell us a little bit about this because he talked to one of the fighters, Sudario versus Ueda, the lone heavyweight fight. So, Chris, tell us what you can.
I did manage to talk to Mikio Ueda. Only thing is, and this is a spoiler, I only managed to get a little bit of time to talk to him because I kept running my damn mouth. But still, though,
it's
normal for me to just talk somebody's head off. But still, though, point of the matter is, you got Mikio Ueda, the Kyokushin karateka, versus the former sumo wrestler, Ensign Inoue's pet monster, Tsuyoshi Sudario. I think this fight is not going to see the judges' scorecards, and it's like this. It's the future of Japanese heavyweight MMA, but you gotta look at it from a one-sided perspective. If Sudario wins this fight in impressive fashion, he could go on to fight in the UFC. Let's be for real about that one.
Another one.
But if Ueda wins this fight, let's see how he does with more K1 fights. Let's see how he does with more of a boost from the management teams at Rizin and K1. Let's see how much he'll do with the spotlight turned on bright for him. Mm-hmm. But I think this heavyweight fight is definitely going to showcase both of these men in the case of who wants it more, especially considering the fact that you got two men with knockout power in either their hands or their feet, and they ain't got nothing to lose. I hate to make a pick on this, but I would have to say, even though I would probably be pissing Ueda's fans off, I would have to say Sudario on this one because he needs this, especially after what happened last year with the Junior Topper fight.
Jaywolf, your thoughts?
Yeah, Jay Chris, when did those interviews drop? Did you ask him if he knows the assignment?
I kind of did. But
nice. Don't reveal. Don't reveal what he said. Just tell us when the interviews drop, so we can listen to them and find out.
I will have the interview up either tomorrow either tomorrow on December 28th or Friday, December 29th, as you're watching this or listening to this right now.
Excellent. So this is it's a featured heavyweight battle of the evening, of course, and so like Jay Chris was saying, he said it perfectly because he knows what's going on with this battle. He interviews Sudario, but Sudario is possibly going to the UFC with a win here. We saw earlier this year he had meetings with Dingleberry, Dana White. He's been training in Vegas, all that stuff. But his opponent is a tough Kyokushin karate fighter, Ueda, and he's got a moat fighting experience. He beat Shibasai. And so he knows how to fight as well. So this is a really good, intriguing matchup, in my opinion. It's basically sumo versus karate. I can't wait to see how it plays out. And I'm actually hoping for Ueda to win. Well, actually, I don't know because it'd be okay if Cesaro went to the UFC, but I want to see these Japanese stay in Rizin. You know what I mean? But I don't want to get in the way of the UFC dreams.
Oh,
but
the dilemma, Jaywolf. The dilemma you have, good sir.
I know, right? So I don't want to. I'm going to go with Jay Chris here and not pick a winner, but I mean, it's going to be a fun matchup. The heavyweights, they always bring it. They always bang. So it's going to be, man, it's going to be a good one. It's going to be some fireworks. So what do you think, Andrew?
It's an interesting strikers. This will be a strikers light. It's going to be interesting.
Yes.
Because, listen, Ueda. I think that Ueda has a more varied and more powerful striking. Like, he can kick people. You look at him, you think, oh, just some fat guy, some fat tall guy. No, he's like, his kicks are perfect. Sudario, though, I think I think his striking is a little bit more. His hand strike is a little bit more powerful, but I think Ueda's might be more varied. There's going to be a lot. He can mix up a lot more faster than Sudario. I don't know if Sudario is going to want to take it to the ground. That would be interesting if it tries to go to the ground. I don't think Sudario really hasn't done anything on the ground other than really Rocky Martinez, but that was more ground and pounds. I don't know if we're going to see any grappling. It's tough. I think I've actually, they both. This could be one punch knockout, but also you do have to consider that if they are both strikers, they may not want to strike. That's the problem. You always have to worry about that. There's always that.
Oh, you talk about the MVP daily bout again? Hey, but that was under the Pussified Unified rules, not under the superior rules that Austin gets right.
Answer your question. I think I just have to go. You know what? Part of me is thinking that Ueda is going to win this. I'm going to have to go with Ueda with this thing. So, yeah.
Hey, those karate kicks are powerful, like you said. So, all right, let's roll on to the next one. What's the next bout? Code Mate Dave's question was talking some trash about Sudario there.
You can take this, Jay Chris. I have to go answer.
Dario is dumber than bricks. He didn't show for takedowns against Tapa. Maybe he's gonna learn. But the next fight we're gonna talk about is Miyu Yamamoto's swan song. And yes, I did get the opportunity to talk to Miyu about this fight. She said, and I quote, "I may not come out this fight with the title, but I am coming out with Seika Izawa's undefeated record." I mean,
wow.
And now come to think of it, you got 6-7 Miyu Yamamoto versus 11-0 Seika Izawa. I'm not gonna ask this is good matchmaking, but do you think that Yamamoto, I mean, even though she had a year off due to an ACL injury and obviously time to spend with Kyle Agiwan, her husband, I mean, do you think that the ring rust will probably come back to bite her in this final fight?
Honestly, I don't think it's really going to matter. I think Seika Izawa is so good. I think she's just going to win because she's a superstar flower. That's what I like to call her because that's her nickname is Starflower. But she's a superstar and a rising superstar, I should say, the best athletic in the world of any organization. She's number one. And Yamamoto is a retirement bout. This is to honor her and her family's legacy and giving her a title shot for her last bout. So I just don't see her beating Izawa. Izawa's just too good. But hey, if you saw Confessions, Yamamoto was very confident, and she's saying she was born for this bout right here. So she's going to be using her wrestling. She's going to be using that, the superior rule set, get some ground and knees off, hopefully. But Izawa, we already know she knows the assignment as well. You saw her with the Hamasaki fight where she rocked her with those grounded up kicks. That's how she won the title originally. So we know Izawa's got the skills. So it's going to be a really tough night for Miyu. But again, it's going to be a fantastic send-off. What better way, just like they did for the greatest fighter of all time, Fedor Emelianenko, gave him a title bout for his final fight. And I wonder if that's where
it's not a title fight, though. It's not a title fight.
It's a non-title fight, dude.
Well, okay. Well, they're putting her against the champion.
It would have been the title fight if the Yamamoto ACL injury didn't happen.
Oh, okay. Okay, so even though it's a non-title fight, it's up against their champion, and the number one atomweight in the world. So, it's a fitting way to go out for Yamamoto, but I just think it's going to be one way. Izawa, I mean, if she's able to stuff the takedowns, then that's dude, it's game over. Unfortunately,
how hilarious would it be though? Chris, we always joke about how Miyu has no finishes. Imagine if she finished Seika Izawa in her last fight. That would be hilarious. I would probably die laughing.
That would be the cherry on top of the sundae, to be honest. But even without no wins via finish, I mean, what do you think that Miyu Yamamoto's MMA legacy, hell, her combat sports legacy, which dates all the way back to 1987, will be defined to?
Oh, man. I don't know. Well, we'll have to see. We can answer that when we see this fight, because then, if she wins, we can say, hey, she beat the best atomweight in the world on her final fight.
And that's the greatest 7-7 fighter of all time.
Yeah.
That's right. All right, let's roll on to the next one. Then we're getting some really good fights here.
But Jaywolf, I don't know if I may miss your pick. Who do you pick to win this?
How do you miss my pick? I was talking Seika Izawa all day. Come on.
I had to make a drink.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, Seika Izawa all freaking day. She's just too good. Number one atomweight. She should be fighting like Invicta's atom, like Lionheart Jill or somebody should be coming over. And Izawa's the A side. Let me just put that out there because she's the best in the world. Okay, she's the A side. If you guys want to fight the best atomweight, you come over to Japan and fight her in Japan on the Epic Rizin card under superior rules and awesomeness. Let's get this now. This is the last bout of the before the intermission and then the final 4 bouts.
Sorry, Chris, did you give your thoughts? I may have missed it.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, I'll just quickly say, you know what?
I'm not gonna pick a finish. I'm not gonna pick whoever wins this fight. Obviously, I mean this fight is gonna be Yamamoto's swan song. She's been doing this pretty much ever since she learned how to crawl and walk. But still, though, I just think this fight is gonna be a perfect representation of Miyu's legacy, whether she wins or loses. And as for Izawa, who knows? If she wins this fight, I mean, who else is there to defend her title against?
Yeah, I don't know. Do you think this should have been a title fight just for whatever? Just
it should have been, but you don't want a fighter going out, as in retiring, taking your damn title belt with her.
That's true. I get it. Listen, you know what? I'm gonna be the odd man out. Fuck it. Let me pick Miyu. Let's see a happy ending. Listen, here's the thing. I think Miyu. Listen, if Miyu doesn't get caught with having to submission grapple defense Izawa, I think Miyu's a better striker than Izawa. I think one of the things we learned in the Siwoo Park fight is that Izawa does not like to strike. She will avoid striking, and Miyu does have good hands. She actually has pretty good striking. Now, the wrestling, listen, if she can wrestle how she did against Kana and not put herself in situations where she gets submitted, then I think Miyu can win that, can just get those points and win the scorecards. I do think that there is a chance for Miyu to win. I really, really do believe that.
All right, cool. Let's go on to the next one. We already done 5 minutes on this bout.
Quickly, we have a question from.
Oh, you're breaking your rules, Drew. You're breaking your rules. You're going over 5 minutes on this bout.
No, we have a question from Falling Star. We have a question.
Oh, okay. Okay.
He wants to know Nate Diaz surprise this year of this New Year's, or do you feel any chance surprise fights will be real for next year? Jaywolf?
Yes, we're going to get some surprises there's 2 intermissions and opening ceremony, but there's 2 intermissions. Sakaki Barasan, the GOAT, is going to come in there and give us some kind of awesome. They already said on Rizin's Twitter that they're going to be announcing the next Landmark show. Going to be announcing the fights, and it's in February. February 24th is Landmark 8. And we were guessing is going to be Chihiro Kanehara. We don't know. Is Chihiro going to be there in attendance? That could be what's announced for. We'll see. But there's definitely going to be some announcements during the intermission. Let's go. This is going to be the fight of one of the fights for night.
Are we going to see Nate Diaz at New Year's or not?
I think most likely we will. But
what?
Then again,
are you serious?
Then again, you have to think about it. I mean, maybe this is an omen, even though, of course, Nate Diaz is of high demand right now. I think we might see Nate Diaz at Rizin 45 this New Year's Eve. And Kome, they said now the majority of the February show will be announced.
Yes. I agree with that. No Nate Diaz at all. Nate Diaz is not touching Japan. First of all, I don't think he can even legally go in Japan because of all the weed shit. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, let's go. Come on. You're using full time.
Jaywolf, this is the fight that you are most excited for. I feel like you take it away, sir.
Oh my goodness,
Let
this
me
is
go
going to
ahead
be.
and finish my thoughts about this.
Okay. Come on, hurry up. We already gone over 5 minutes on that one.
Okay, when it comes down to February 24th, Saga Arena, Saga Japan, I think we're going to probably see more than 3 fights be announced on New Year's Eve. That's my prediction.
Is it Chihiro Kanehara or no?
Probably. But I won't say for certain which ones will be.
Okay, sorry, Jaywolf.
Talk about Ren Hiromoto versus Yaman.
Yeah, Jaywolf, go on.
My goodness, this is gonna for the Japanese fans, this is probably one of the people's main event for the Japanese fans, because if you saw the Confession series, Ren Hiromoto is a bona fide star already, and he's like the face of this matchup, and Yaman is the heel of this matchup, and the villain of this matchup, as he said himself on the go watch the Confession series. They're fantastic, and it just shows you all the behind the scenes stuff. Ren Hiromoto is really. He's just embracing mixed martial arts, and I just cannot wait to see it. And Yaman, he's already shown he's a crossover star, from the match, knocking people out in kickboxing in his open finger glove bouts. Now he's also finishing guys in mixed martial arts. This is going to be one of the best fights of the night. I cannot wait to see it. And I'm hoping Ren Hiromoto can pull off the win, because he was talking, if he wins, he's challenging Mikiro Asakura next after this bout. So, Yaman is really tough. Yaman's we know he's got knockout power. We know he knows, these guys should know the assignment here. So we could see some Pride rules, superior rule set awesomeness happen. And I think it ends in a finish. And I'm hoping that it's Ren, but it very well could go either way. Could go Yaman or Ren. It's going to be a banger. Either way, it's going to be 100% banger.
Jay Chris, your thoughts?
Oh, my thoughts on Ren Hiromoto versus Ren Yaman Sugiyama. Let's face it. This fight is going to have weird written all over it. But then again, you have to realize this ain't Yaman's debut. This is Yaman's second time fighting under mixed martial arts rules. First time fighting in full mixed martial arts rules. But then again, I don't know. There's just something to see about this fight, and I think that Ren Hiromoto is probably going to be the main one providing it. I think Yaman's going to probably bring the entertainment value of this fight, but Ren Hiromoto is going to bring the finishing. And I think he's going to probably do that in 2 rounds.
It's a very tough fight to pick. Listen, Ren Hiromoto's MMA stint has been quite shitty. It's really sorry to say. It has not gone the way I think that I think all three of us would want it to go.
It's still young though, and it's only his 5th bout.
It is
so
true, but then he's also the problem is that you're running out of opponents that are on a level that makes sense for him to fight. If he's only beating people like Dominator, and he's not beating people like Chihiro or Saito, bigger names.
Those are former champions, though, bro. Come on.
But then, if you can't beat former champions, then listen, he's gonna have to fill some hole.
Just get him middle of the road guys to get his wins up, and then put him in there against the freaking former champions. Gosh.
I will say this: the Confessions video is hilarious between these two. The press conference as well was hilarious between these two.
Yes. You're talking about gravel face, right? The gravel face bits.
I'm still trying to figure out what that means. Anyway, I think that it's a tough one. Listen, in a way, I kind of hope it goes all 3 rounds, because I think these two are just going to kind of just swing and bang. I don't think we're going to really see grappling between these 3. But I don't know. I want Ren to get a win, but I also want Yaman to get a win, because I think both of them can benefit from a good win against the other. But I think Ren maybe needs a little bit more. I'm going to edge with Ren. That sounds kind of gross, but I'm going to edge on the side of Ren, because I think maybe he has a little bit more MMA experience that he can use I think he's been training a lot of grappling. It seems like I don't know how much Yaman trains in grappling. I think Ren might because he if he has to take down the fence down, then he's not going to win. Then Ren's gonna I think can make this. And I also think he'll be a little bit bigger than Yaman as well because Ren's a featherweight, a natural featherweight versus Yaman.
Good points. I got a question for you, Drew, on this bout.
Yep.
Do you think Yaman tops his entrance from earlier this year? Do you think he secures his walkout of the year at this New Year's Eve show?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay, because I mean that walkout earlier in the year is the front runner for walkout of the year so far. So he's got to do something big to top it here.
Day has an interesting question, or it's not a question, but statement. Food for thought. Karamov couldn't go 5 minutes with Suzuki, while Ren went 15 minutes with Suzuki. I don't know. Is that whole MMA math thing?
Yes, but good. So good food for thought.
Following starts question: should Rizin start a movement to legalize gambling on MMA? I think it's already legal. I think it's legal now in Japan. I believe it actual MMA, actual gambling, and I think one of the sponsors for the show is BetRank. I believe I saw.
Yeah, and they had odds up earlier. So, I mean, like we were saying earlier, they had the odds up on Bovada. I don't know if they're still there or not. So there is gambling odds on this card, and that was one of the requirements.
I think there is a gambling thing that is sponsoring the show. I think it's called BetRank, BETRNK, I think, something like that.
Okay, and as we know from the Rizin Discord, that's one of the requirements to be a Tier 1 organization is you got to have fight odds. So for betting,
really? That's so dumb. Anyway, Clever Toy versus Yutaka Saito, the battle of the former featherweight champions. Jaywolf. I mean, what do you think? I mean, I think Clever has looked better than Saito has recently. They're both on losing streaks, though. No, that's the thing. So
still, you know what? If you read that,
but they're both not at the top anymore. So what do you think? How do you think this fight will go between these two? And they were supposed to fight before when the Saito was champion. So.
Yeah, I love this fight. If you go read that Rizin breakdown of the full card that I was telling you about on Rizin's website, it's fantastic. It was a great breakdown of this fight right here, and this is the first time that two former champions are being matched together on a Rizin card. These top 4 events right here, there's basically like 2 co-main events and then 2 main events. It's like a dual main event card and a dual co-main card. And this is going to be one of the co-main events right here. And the former champion against former champion, I'm giving the edge to Clever because he's just, he's got the submission skills, the grappling skills, but Yutaka Saito knows his way around on the mat as well. So, I mean, it could, and also, as we saw, Saito has one of the best superior rule set finishes of grounded knees that we've seen, but that was a way long time ago for him. And he has not shown that he knows the assignment since then. In fact, it shows that he forgot the assignment. So it depends on if he can remember the assignment or not. And if he does, he's got a good chance.
Not remember because of CTE?
I don't know, but look, if he can remember the assignment and throw some soccer kicks, some ground knees, he's got a good chance, right? And Clever, we already know, he's got the fantastic submissions, one of the best Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighters in the game. He's in Satoshi Souza's camp, so they're like right there, for the top Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighters in the mixed martial arts today, especially the lighter weight divisions. So you know what he's bringing to the table, right? Also, he's bringing grappling, submissions. So I'm picking him to win, but it's going to be a banger either way. This is one of the co-mains of the night.
Don't forget, Clever trained at ATT for this fight as well.
Oh, did he? Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's the confessions he trained. So hopefully he honed his striking. He seems to go everywhere else. He doesn't stick in Japan for when he wants to train striking. He goes to Thailand for striking. He goes to ATT for striking. So he clearly knows that he needs to improve in the striking game, but he still unfortunately is a guy who's afraid to get hit. If you watch him, he does not like to. He cowers like he like that, like against Pitbull.
Okay. Well, then I'm still picking it as a grappler as the light of the night, but that's interesting. There might be some striking, so we'll see.
Okay.
So,
Jay Krish, well, who do you think is going to get the win in this? Who's going to get a rebound and get and climb up the rankings?
It has to be Clever, right? I mean, let's face it, the dude was on an unbelievable tear leading up to his run at the Rizin title. Meanwhile, I think Saito got the Rizin belt in his first fight in the promotion, right?
No, he didn't get the first fight. It was against Mikuru. Remember, it was a very close fight between the two of them against Mikuru. Then he had the non-title fight.
It was the second fight in the promotion.
It was either second or third, something like that. Yeah,
second. It was second. I'm looking at the Tapology stats right now, but still,
Okay.
I think that Kleber has the most to gain from this, especially considering the fact that he has the most wins via finish overall compared to his opponent. I mean, I think that if Kleber Koike wins this fight, he's going to be bounced right back into the conversation, maybe to face off against Chihiro Suzuki in a rematch against the. Yeah. What am I trying to say? Basically, point of the matter is, I think Kleber is going to win this fight via submission, and it'll lead to another fight between him and Chihiro Suzuki, where hopefully Kleber will be able to make weight, and it won't have to end in a no contest.
Well, to get Chihiro, he's got to go through Kanahara first. Kanahara is who beat Kleber. Then Kanahara is next in line to face Chihiro. So,
yeah, probably. I think Kanahara without doubt deserves the next title fight. But whoever wins this would get the winner between Kanahara and Suzuki. I think that's fair. I think that's a fair.
Okay, if they want to wait that long, that's fine. So.
Oh no, sometimes you gotta wait. That's what you gotta sometimes do. You gotta sometimes wait. So
let's roll into the co-main, baby. Can't wait. This is the one.
I'll give my thoughts quickly. I think that's, I would normally pick Kleber. I think Saito's going to win this. I think Saito's a more route-runner fighter. I don't think he's going to fall into the traps that Kleber. There's a blueprint to beat Kleber. If he's smart, he's that's the game that he's planning, that he's formulating, and you can beat Kleber on the feet or on the ground as long as you don't fall into its submission. So I think I'm going to pick a Saito win. I think it's going to go all 3 rounds. I think he's going to nullify all of Kleber's attempts at submissions. But Jaywolf, I know you're somehow looking forward to this fight. I don't know how, but also some people are into crack as well. So I don't know why.
No, crack is back. No, we don't do drugs here.
Kaizakura, sir, but you can tell me why you're looking forward to this fight, man.
Oh my goodness, this is one of the top collaboration bouts of the year. Juan Archuleta, number 3 bantamweight in Bellator, former champion, only man to beat Patchy Mix, who everybody knows. Patchy Mix, UFC ready, could beat challenge Sean O'Malley right now, and just Juan Archuleta beat Patchy Mix dominantly, fair and square. You can't. I mean, and this right here, if Juan beats him, if Juan beats Kai here. Kai's going to have to stay in Rizin. He's not going to go to UFC. Kai was talking about wanting to go to UFC, right, with the win here. So if Juan beats him, Kai has to stay. The Azakura brothers are staying in Rizin. And it also sets up for Juan to go face Patchy Mix in the next year's Bellator versus PFL champions a card, pay-per-view they're going to be doing. And he can represent the Rizin and Bellator in that. It's going to be so dude, I cannot wait. Everybody's talking trash. I can see him right there. Kome Day. It's not dead yet, buddy. It's still, or man, it's still got 8 more events next year before they fold it completely into PFL. And Juan Archuleta is still ranked number 3 on their official rankings right now. And again, he's the only man to beat Patchy Mix. So if he wins the title, defends the title here, he's going over to the PFL versus Bellator champions card. It's going to be awesome. Kai has to stay there. And if Kai wins this bout, he's going to the UFC, right? So, I mean, this a huge stakes in this fight right here. Absolute massive stakes at play in this fight right here. It just depends on who knows the assignment. I mean, Juan Archuleta, we've seen it. He threw a ground knee before, but we need to. If he's going to beat Kai, he's got to show more. I mean, we got to see a lot of ground knees. We got to see 12 to 6 elbows. We got to see sour kicks, everything, stomps. We got to see that he knows the assignment for this bout right here. And there's been a lot of trash talking online saying, oh, he's boring, blah, 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 from all kinds of different people, just talking trash on him. So he could really, with a strong performance here, an exciting performance, put to bed all those haters. And just, I mean, and it would just be sensational. I just can't wait for this. I think he's really going to do it. And also he has fantastic walkouts as well. So we could see a fantastic walkout from him too. I mean, This to me, it's really going to be. This is a dual main event right here. There's two main events tonight.
Jaywolf of J. Chris, your thoughts, sir?
I spoke with Archuleta. He actually respects Asakura's skill set, but he sees a lot of improvement in Asakura. But the thing is, he's coming into this bout as the reigning and defending Rizin Bantamweight champion. He's only one of 2 American fighters, him and King Mo, that have actually brought some relevancy to this promotion from the old Stars and Stripes. And I think that when it comes down to this fight, Archuleta definitely is the odds-on favorite. I mean, if not in the Japanese betting books, then definitely if Las Vegas gave a damn, Vegas has them down as a favorite too. The point about it is, I think that if Asakura wins this fight, he'll probably need to try not to make it a boring fight because Archuleta has won each of his last 4 Rizin fights via decision, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and J. Chris, the betting odds for this are the closest of any of them on the card. So even though Juan's the favorite, he's only a slight favorite.
Really? Wow. Maybe.
Yes.
Anyway.
They're the closest betting odds on the entire card for this one. So this one could really, in the eyes of the bettors, they could go either way. And I think it's gonna be a banger, you guys. I can't wait.
I hope Kai wins. I hope Kai knocks him out in the first round and goes to UFC. All
right, that's enough from you, Drew. All right, let's go to the main event.
No. Jay Chris needs to give his thoughts.
I do not think that's going to happen because it would probably need to be a stone's throw chance for Asakura to actually, dominate Archuleta. But then again, Archuleta does have 4 straight decision wins, including all 3 of his Rizin fights via decision. So, I won't be surprised if Archuleta wins this fight. It just won't be by finish. And I think Archuleta will have that in either the 2nd or 3rd rounds.
I hope that Kai, when he knocks out Archuleta, when Barra hands the belt, he takes out a trash bin and just jumps the
come on.
Okay, let's go on the main event. Let's go.
Full of a Lundra Blaze.
Yes, I want a full Lundra Blaze.
God, come on.
Over. He talks the talk, but he doesn't back up the backup of his fights. He brings all this violence in, and then he grapples for 3 rounds.
We'll see. Well, this is gonna show you haters right here. All right, let's go to the main event now. The main event of the evening. I cannot wait for this one. Who's going to do the intro?
Well, Jaywolf. How about you?
Okay, here we go. This is a rematch from the previous Bellator versus Rizin event. This was originally for the Bellator flyweight title.
Jaywolf? Why was the rematch? What happened in the first match?
It was in a weird bad luck eye poke within the first 30 seconds. That's why I was telling you on the start of the show about how I wanted to apologize for joking around about Dingleberry Dana selling his soul and stuff and just apologize to Dana and Christ Jesus and ask for forgiveness and that no kind of bad luck happens on this card. And also to do that because I got my father's flag right here. I want to do that in front of it and everything. Just take away any kind of bad anything for this card and just that this happens, this fight finally happens, and it's going to be freaking awesome. Kyoji Horiguchi, still top 5 ranked bantamweight in Bellator. We don't know how many fights he's got left on his Bellator contract, but this is for the Rizin title this time. This is Rizin, their debut inaugural flyweight title match. And Shinryu, I don't know if he's signed with Bellator either, because remember the original one was for the Bellator title, right? So this, I don't know. Do you guys know if Shinryu is under contract with Bellator, which is now PFL?
They probably gave Rizin their belt, the belt, and they probably just rebranded the Rizin featherweight belt.
No, they did. Did you not see on the Twitter? They have a brand new Rizin belt that they showed off. Baragot was holding it. It got blue diamonds and stuff on it. Everything says Rizin flyweight. All brand new, no repurposed, nothing. Drew, come on.
Sure. Okay. Go ahead. Go on.
Okay, but this is just going to be just an awesome bout here. and fitting this as the main event, because either way, a Japanese fighter is going to be winning, because this is really a New Year's Eve event for the Japanese fans. There's going to be 30,000 plus in the Saitama Super Arena, and they're all going to be excited about this bout right here. Hopefully, Kyoji gets it done, but we don't know, because Shinryu is just a tough up and coming fighter, and just he's only got one loss and shown very. This is like Drew. You want to talk about prospects? Shinryu is one of the, if he wins this, obviously he's not a prospect anymore. But he was one of the top flyweight prospects in the world, and I cannot wait for this bout right here. It's going to be freaking awesome. So, okay. But I got Kyoji winning, and it's going to be spectacular.
Jay, Chris, your thoughts?
My thoughts on this fight? Yeah. I got Kyoji winning this fight. Because let's face it, the first fight, and Colt Mayday is basically saying Bellator, Bellator, Bellator. It was no bad luck. It was all fucking Bellator. He might be right. I'm assuming Colt Mayday is a man, but I'm assuming he might be right, because that first fight was just an absolute disaster. In 29 seconds. It was basically how you disintegrate an entire division in less than 30 seconds. And Bellator did not do that fight any goodwill. But I think this Rizin fight will definitely do both of these fighters some goodwill, even though, unfortunately, Makoto Shinryu, 4 submission wins. Obviously, he won the Deep title and the Cage Fury title via submission. We know that. But he's also 23, and he's yet to truly be humbled yet, despite the fact that he has a draw, a loss, and a no contest. I think Kyoji Horiguchi still has a little bit of magic left. I still think that he still has a little bit of, pardon the pun, pride in him. And I still think that if he wins this fight, it'll probably be either in the first or second round, just to get it over with, and await either John Dodson or a fourth fight with Hiromasa Kikubo. And nobody wants to see that fourth fight happen between those two. So I think that Horiguchi versus Dodson might be on the books for 2024.
Yeah, I definitely think that I picked Horiguchi to win the first one. I think Horiguchi still has it. I have seen, I know he's had a few bumps in the road, and he's a little bit slower now, but he still hasn't lost that Horiguchi edge that he has. I think he's going to win this. I think he's going to overwhelm Makoto. He's going to be like no other fighter that Makoto has fought so far. And yeah, I think in the future, either whoever wins a fight between them and Dodson will be a great fight to have between the two. But I definitely think that this is. I still think Horiguchi's got it at 125. If I'm wrong though, listen. I'm all Makoto trained. But this is going to be the toughest fight for Makoto, in my opinion, that he's had in the last few years. And that this is going to be Horiguchi. Like that, the old school versus the new school of weights. Before we go, gentlemen, we always do this when we're done looking over the card. 3 fights you're looking forward to the most. Jaywolf?
3 fights. Okay, this is tough to pick just 3. Of course, the top 2 dual main events are awesome. Ren Hiramoto, Yaman. Let's go with those 3. But there's many, many, many more on this card. Okay, this card's awesome.
Jay Chris, 3 fights you're looking forward to the most.
It sucks that there's 17 fights, because it means that there's a whole lot of looking forward to. But the 3 fights I'm going to be looking forward to the most, in no particular order, are Miyu versus Seiki Izawa, Miyu's retirement fight. Igor Tanabe versus Shinzo, the Animal Anzai. And outside the 2 main events, really outside the 3 main events, I think I can say I'm most definitely looking forward to Mikio Ueda versus Tsuyoshi Sudario. What about you, Andrew?
Ampo versus Kubo, Hiramoto versus Yaman, and Horiguchi versus Shinryu.
Nice.
I think a bunch of these fights could be main events on other shows, but New Year's is all about stacking it, making as many main events as possible. For shits and giggles, I should have said Yushi versus Joe Hiromoto, but no way.
We have to get to the card. By the time that fight happens, people will just be.
I'll forget. Yeah, we'll forgot that fight has actually happened.
Yeah.
Since we're running out of time, gentlemen, Jaywolf, I want to give you an opportunity to plug your stuff.
Oh, we can't talk about Takada leaving and how we want
to. See, that's what happens.
All right. Just want to plug.
We can talk about that on my review for the entire year of 2023 Focus Fights about 2 weeks after this event happens. Exactly. But go ahead and plug your shit.
Okay, you got my @ right there on the screen. That's my @ at Twitter right there. It's misspelled on purpose. I say it's me from way back in the day in 06 or 07 when I started commenting on Yahoo boards. I'm the same person. If you're a real person, I'll follow you back. Also, I have a preview coming up. Hopefully, Jay Chris will let me on the Focus Fights, and I'll be chatting up with him on Focus Fights. Also, Teep to the Junk on Teep channel, Random Acoustic Thoughts, the YouTube channel. We're going to have a Rizin preview. He's actually going to do a Rizin preview for New Year's Eve. How cool is that? So hopefully it's going to be the start of a series with Teep that we're going to get to do. And so watch for that. And then also, I just can't thank you guys enough for having me on. This is freaking awesome. I've been loving this dude. I can't wait. This is one of the best times of the year for a mixed martial arts fan, and this is one of the best events of the year. They should not, the stupid UFC media isn't giving it close to the amount of coverage that it should get.
We know you hate the media, but I have to go on the Jay Chris because we're running out of time.
Okay, you can follow me on Twitter and the fans at ChrisGary92. Yes, this is the first time I'm promoting my other page. Don't worry, I'm not really all that super, You can follow me on Instagram at ChristianGary1992, and you can check out all of what Focus Fights has in store on the Linktree page. linktr.ee/Focus Fights. Andrew, your go.
Okay, we are Rizin Pod. That's the pod that's the Twitter of the pod. Excuse me, X whatever. I also write for MMAsucker.com. You can see my stuff there, or personal where I just post wrestling stuff. Benjamin. Yep, that's basically all the shit I have. Jaywolf, I'll give you time to play your little thing if you want.
No, I sent it to you guys so you can play it because I don't have the ability to play it.
Okay, let me get it up.
Yeah, I mean, because when the Rizin lads, when it's New Year's Eve and the Rizin lads come to town, it's banger after banger after banger. Yes, Jay Krish, after banger after banger. Yes, Jay Krish, you're the man, brother. All right, play it, Drew. Play the outro.
Why do I know? Hold on, Jay Chris, do you have it? Here it is. I got it. So we got this outro that Jaywolf sent us. So let us press play and see what it says.
Pride never die. Pride is rising. Peace.
Tetsugoya.